Hello guys, good morning. Um, Today's lesson we are going to talk about this book. So we're going to discuss everything about this book, SQL for data analysis. So many people said that this book is one of the best books for data analysis. You want to become a data analyst? This book is for you. So we are going to read cover to cover, and if there is a practical that need to be done, of course we are going to do it. So we have our debeaver ready, so where we are going to write our queries. We have our whiteboard if we need something to write or to explain more about what we are going to do. So we have approximately 9 hours left. As you can see there, the book is very long. Uh, the book is very long. Okay, and it has how many pages? About 300 pages, 357 pages, as you can see that. And the one who wrote it is Kathy. Is among the top people when it comes to coding. Very is known, is well known. With that being said, before we start the lesson, please like this video, subscribe to the channel if you're new to the channel, and we are going to begin in a minute. Okay, if you have books, make sure you have your book with you. You have everything with you. So this is what it says. So with the explosion of data, computing power, and clouding data warehouses, SQL has become an even more indispensable tool for survey analysts or data scientists. This practical book reveals a new and hidden way to improve your SQL skills, solve problems, and make the most of SQL as part of your workflow. You will learn how to use both common and exotic SQL functions such as joins, window functions, subqueries, and regular expressions in new innovation ways, as well as how to combine SQL techniques to accomplish your goal faster with understandable code. If you work with SQL database, this is a must-have reflex. Learn the key steps for preparing your data for analysis. Perform the series analysis using SQL's data time manipulations. Use cohort analysis to investigate how groups change over time. Use SQL's powerful function and operation for text analysis. Detect outliers in data and replaces them with alternative values. Establish causality using experiment analysis, also known as A/B test. So that is what it says. So before we start, in the description below, I have some links there. So the first link will take you to my book, and when you click that link, it's going to open this. Okay, so it's going to open this. So this is my book that I have created, cover to cover, written everything in it. So this is my book. So if you want to check out, go and check out. Okay, now let's begin this book. So we are going to start our book. All right, so this is what it says. Chapter 1, analysis with SQL. Make sure you like the channel, please. Please, I beg you. Please like the channel, and if you're new, please subscribe. analysis with SQL. So if you're reading this book, you're probably interested in data analysis and in using SQL to accomplish it. You may be experienced with data analysis but new to SQL, or perhaps you're experienced with SQL but new to data analysis, or you may be new to both topics entirely. Whatever your starting point, this chapter lays the groundwork for topics covered in the rest of the book and makes sure we have common vocabulary. I'll start with a discussion of what a data analysis is, then move on to discussion of SQL, why it is, why it's so popular, how it compares to other tools, and how it fits into data analysis. Then, since modern data analysis is intertwined with technologies that have enabled it, I will conclude with discussion of different types of databases that you may encounter in your work, why they are used, and what all that means for the SQL you write. So the first part here we have is what is data analysis. So we are going to talk about what a data analysis is. Okay, collecting and storing data for analysis is a very common, a very human activity system to track stores of grain, taxes, uh, and the population go back thousands of years, and the roots of statistics. So this is what data analysis is. Okay, I think we already know what data analysis is. Basically, a data analysis is someone who analyzes data. So that is what data analysis is, all right? So we can skip this part and go directly to this part, okay? Why SQL? Okay, this section describes what SQL is, so the benefit of using it, how it compares other languages commonly used for analysis. Okay, we're going to compare SQL with other languages such as Python, JavaScript. Okay, and finally, how SQL fits into analysis work, and we'll talk about how SQL is very important when it comes to data analysis. What is SQL? SQL is the language used to communicate with the database. Okay, so SQL is a language we use to talk to the database. Okay, the acronym stands for Structured Query Language. So SQL, the S stands for structured, Q stands for query, and L stands for language. So when you combine those three letters, it forms what we call SQL. Okay, and it's pronounced like SQL, as you say there, or you can say by each letter, such as SQL, the way I said it at first. Okay, so this is only the first of many controversies and inconsistencies surrounding SQL that you use. But most people will know what you mean regardless of how you say it. Whether you say SQL or SQL, everyone will understand you. Okay, so that's what we are saying. Okay, so there is some debate to as whether SQL isn't a programming language. So so there are people who are saying SQL is not a programming language, and the people who are saying on the other side SQL is a programming language. So, but on my side, I say SQL is not a programming language. Okay, so there's no issue with that as long as you know how to write the queries. Okay, don't worry about that. It is in general purpose language in that way that C or Python are. So SQL without a database and data in a table is just a text file. Okay, so without the database, so it's just a text file. These are here down there. Okay, this thing like just a text file. Okay, without a database. So SQL is just a text file. That is what we're told. So SQL can't build a website. So we cannot build a website. If you're a web designer or web developer, you cannot build a website with SQL. So we usually use languages such as Python, JavaScript. So that is why SQL is not a programming language. Okay, but it is powerful for working with data in databases. So it is very, very important. Okay, when you want to work on a database, you use SQL. Uh, what matters most is that SQL can help you get the job of data analysis. Okay, so the most important part is that SQL can help you analyze data. So that is what we're saying here. IBM was the first to develop SQL database, okay, from the relational model invented in 1960. So here we are told that SQL was invented in 1960. So it's not something that has started in 20th century. It was there long time ago. Okay, we used to have SQL, right? And this is the guy who invented SQL, right? Edgar. Okay, that's how we pronounce his name. So the relational model was theoretical description for managing data using relationships. So that is what it was used for. So it was used for managing relationships. So relationships, you are going to learn that when we start opening the book. So right now you might be new to relationships. So relationship is just joining tables, okay? Something like that. We have three types of relationships: one-to-one relationship, many-to-many relationship, and one-to-many relationships. So we are going to talk about that when we start opening the book. That so it is very very far now. So we said by creating fast databases, IBM helped to advance the theory. So as time goes by, so the SQL has advanced and reached at a point where now it became more technical, okay, and not theoretical. Uh, okay, it's also had commercial consideration as did Oracle, Microsoft, okay, and every other company that has commercialized a database since. All right. So from the beginning, there has been tension between computer theory and commercial reality. Okay, SQL became an international organization for standard ISO in 1987 and an American National Standard Institute in 1986. Okay, so it became a standard language in those era, 1987 and 1986 in America. Okay, although all major databases start from this standard in their implementation of SQL, many have variations and functions that make life easier for the users of those databases. So this comes at the cost of making SQL more difficult to move between databases without some modification. SQL is used to access, manipulate, and retrieve data. So that is what we use for SQL. So we used to manipulate, all right? We used to manipulate data. We used to retrieve. Retrieve means pick, okay? Something, certain information from data. And that is what we use for SQL, all right? And I can have more schemas. So schemas, we are going to talk about that. So if you don't know schema, just relax. So schema is just a title, right? Which provide the organization and structure and contain other objects. Within a schema, the objects most commonly used in data analysis are tables. So this is actually what we call a relational database management system. Okay, we use tables to store information. Okay, so we will talk about that. So don't worry about that. So tables contain fields or fields. Field, the other name for field is just what we call columns, right? Called columns. So how is column written? So column is a vertical line, right? Tables may have one or more indexes. And so an index is a special kind of data structure that allows data to be retrieved more efficiently. So index are usually defined by a database administration. Views are essentially stored queries that can be referred in the same way as table. Functions allow commonly used set for calculation or procedure to be stored, easily referred in the queries. They are usually created uh, administration or DBA. So gives an overview of the organization. So this is how it looks like. You have a database, then a scheme, then The scheme is just a title. So then we have a table. So in that table we have column fields, right? Field one, two, we have so many fields. Then we have index. And most of the DBMS do not even have that, okay? So you don't even have to worry about that, okay? Then we have table 2, as you can see that E1 function 1. So this is how it looks like. You have database, schema 1, table 1, then fields, then index. So you don't even have to worry about index because most DBMS don't even have index. Then we have table 2, view1, function 1. That is it. So this is basically talking about SQL. So benefits of SQL. So if we were to check the benefits, so let's check the benefits of SQL, why we use SQL and how important it is to us. So there are many good reasons to use SQL for data analysis, for computing power, or to ubiquity in data analysis tools and its flexibility. Okay. Perhaps the best reason to use SQL is that much of the world's data is already in databases. Okay, most of the information is data. We store them in database, and the language we use is SQL to talk to the database, and that is one of the reasons why it is very, very important. Okay, it's like your own organization has one or more database. Even if data is not already in database, loading it into one can be worthwhile in order to take advantage of the storage and computing advantage, especially when compared to alternatives such as spreadsheets. So computing power has exploded in recent years. Okay, let me explain to you what this is. Okay, a database is very, very important to store information. It is better than storing information in what we call files. Okay, just simple files here. So a database is more important because it leads to privacy, security, for security reasons, and another reason is that database can store huge information. Let's say 100,000 GBs of data can be stored in a database, and that is why it is very, very important. And now we can only store database. We can only store data in database using SQL languages. Okay, and that is what that's the second reason why SQL is very, very important. Okay, and that is one of the those are the reasons why SQL is very, very important. Okay, and this is a comparison between SQL and Bash Python. So we're trying to compare which one is better, SQL or Python. So this one we can skip it for now because it is not that important. So I think after this we are going to start the book. Okay. Now okay, database types and how to work with them. So this is a very, very important one. So if you are working with SQL, you'll be working with databases. There is a range of database types, open source to uh, proprietary, raw to store, column store, right? So we have a database. So in this section, we're talking about types of DBMS. So a DBMS is a database management system. Okay, so it helps us uh, manage the database. Okay, and we have four DBMS. All right. So the first one is what we call relational database management system. So relational DBMS helps us store information in table like manner, right? So that is the first one. The second one is NoSQL. Okay, NoSQL is stores information using graphs. So we can use information. We can use to store information in graphs like okay. So we also have cloud DBMS, and for now, if it comes to data analysis, so there's only one that is very, very important. That is what we call the uh, relational database management system. That is the one that is very, very important. So relational database management system stores information in table like manner using rows and column. So we have, for example, PostgreSQL, for example, the one that we are going to use in a minute. And we also have MySQL if you're using MySQL, the data for you, and Oracle. Okay. With that being said, I think we can begin our book now. So we talked about everything we needed, and the first part of this book is this. Okay. Okay. Now we are going to talk about chapter two. So this is a very, very important chapter. Okay. We at first we were talking about everything about the book. I mean, the what it contains, all those information. So that was a general. So now this is where now the book begins. Okay, and we are going to do a practical uh, thing. So in this book, there's some instructions. So where we need to do it practically. So we are going to do it practically as our debeaver is ready here. So you can see that debeaver is very ready, and we have our word part where we can write some information. It is if we want to elaborate something, we use that. Okay. Now let's begin our chapter two. So preparing data for analysis. Okay. Estimate of how long data scientists spend preparing their data vary, but it is safe to say that this takes up significant part of time spent working with data. In 2014, the New York Times reported that data scientists spend from 50% to 80% of their time cleaning and wrangling data. So, data analysts, most of them, 80% of the time we use to clean data. So, when you become a data analyst, you will come across a very, very messy data. Okay, and you'll be shocked that the type of data you will come across. It is very, very messy. It has a lot of spelling errors, even blanks. So that is why I wrote my book. So for those who checked out my book, know that, right? So we said that so 80% of the time they use it to clean data, all right? 2016 survey by Cloud Flower found that data scientists spend 60% of their time uh, cleaning or organizing data, or organizing data in order to prepare for it. So they use 60% of their time to organize data. Organizing data means starting from collecting data, right? They use 60% of the time, right? So that is what 2016 survey that was said, right? Preparing data is such a common task that terms have sprung to describe it, such as data mangling or data wrangling or data preparation. Okay, so that's not important. Okay, so we can now begin types of data we have. Data is the foundation of analysis, and all data has a database, data type, and also belong to one or more categories of data. Having a firm grasp of many form of data can take will help you to be more effective data analyst. I will start with database data type, the most frequently encountered in analysis. So then I will move on some conceptual grouping that can help us understand the source, quality, and possible application of the data. Database data types. That is the first one. Okay. Fill in the database table all defined data types. Most databases have good documentation on the types of they support, and this is a good resource for any details beyond presented here. You don't necessarily need to be an expert on the nuances of data type to be good at analysis. but later in this book we'll encounter a situation in which considering the data type is important. So this section will cover the basics. So the main type of data are strings, numeric, logical, and data type, right? Summarized. So it is summarized in this table. So let's check out this table. So they are based on Postgres, but are similar across major. Alright, so this is the table. So these are the data types we have, right? We have the string data type description. So in string data type, either car or vaka. Okay. So whole strings, a car is always a fixed length, okay, where a vaka is a variable length up to maximum. Right. So let me just explain a little bit what car and vaka means. So when I open my book, so there's a book that I have written where it explains properly. Just give me a minute. Let me open that book. Yep, this one here. So let's open So let's open our WordPress. Let me go to this part and open our WordPress. Okay, WordPad, I mean, so not WordPress. Okay, so in the string, we say that we have a string data type. In the string, under string data type, we have car or vaka. Okay, those are the informations we have. Let me increase the font so that you guys can see. Okay, that is that's better now, I think. Car or vaka. So what does this even mean? So car, it means that it is a fixed length. Fixed length. All right. Car is used for fixed length. Whenever you want to insert informations in a table, for example, phone numbers, we know that the characters of a phone number, right? If we know it's a 10 digits, right? So for you to put the information, so the data type, so you choose car because it's a fixed length, okay? And the other one we have is vaka, variable character, okay? This one, the variable character, it varies, right? The variable character. When you are not sure about the number of characters, such as names, so you're not sure about how many letters it contains, all right? So you just choose vaka. That is the difference between car, and most of the data analysts they prefer vaka over car because car very limited to a certain number, right? Or variable character, you have a lot of freedom. That is why it is better. So it's better to use vaka. So you will understand all these informations when you start creating tables and inserting it. All right. That is the first data type. That is string data type. So that is what we told. So where vaka is variable length up to some maximum size. All right. Numeric data type. So under numeric data type, we have integers. So this is about numbers. We have integers, we have digits, we have decimal, okay, numerical, that is it. So whole integers, whole number. So if you want to choose a whole number, then you choose integer, right? All right, so that is it. And what is it? Float. Float, basically float, decimal, these are just same thing, okay? Whole decimal, uh, numbers, sometimes with numerical decimal places. So if you want to put data, sorry that I haven't changed this part. Okay, So that is what we mean by the numeric data type. So it's about numbers. Okay, numeric data type is about numbers. We have integers, we have decimals. So those are the most used ones. Okay, you have the logical ones. Is either boolean. It holds either uh, true or false value. Okay, it checks if a value is true or not. So that is it. Those are the data types we have. And lastly, we have date and time. So it just sets the date and the time as from the name, as you can see there, date and time. So we talked about those information, structured versus unstructured. So this is not even important to know because we are going to use structured anyway because analysis. Analysis, we need something that is very, very organized, okay? And the structured is the one, okay, to be used. Now, um, quantitative versus qualitative analysis. So this one is very, very important. Let's talk about quantitative data. It measures people, things, and events. So quantitative data can include descriptors such as customer information, product type, or device configuration. But it also comes with numeric information such as prices, quantity, or visit durations, count, sum, average, or other numeric functions. So those are the things that quantitative analysis from the word quantity, as you can see, it deals with numbers, right? It counts, sum, average. That is what we call quantitative analysis. Qualitative analysis. So qualitative data is often machine generated these days, but it doesn't need to be. So height, right? Weight and blood pressure. So that is what we use for qualitative data analysis. Okay. And on paper intakes from our quantitative such as okay, that is not important. Okay, qualitative data is usually text based and include opinions, feelings, and descriptions that aren't strictly quantitative. Temperature and humidity levels are quantitative, while descriptive descriptors like hot and humid are qualitative. Okay, you have understood that, right? Qualitative usually is the text form. So if the temperature is 30 degrees Celsius, that is hot. The 30 degrees Celsius, that is quantitative. But when you say it is hot, that is qualitative. Okay. Survey feedback, customer support inquiries, and social media posts are qualitative. So I think these are not even important as you can see there. Okay. So we talked about a lot of things here. We talked about these informations. We talked about. So it's been 34 minutes, I think. So, um, can we have a small break here? Okay. SQL query structure. SQL queries have common clause and syntax, although this can be combined in nearly infinite numbers of ways to achieve analysis goals. This book assumes that you have prior knowledge of SQL, but I'll review the basics here. So we have common foundations for the code. For, so the thing is that in our videos, I think we finished SQL. So for those who are here from the start, so we discussed everything about SQL. So we did a whole project of SQL. So we finished Excel, we finished SQL. So I I think that based on my understanding that you have a small knowledge about SQL, right? So that's what it says in this book. So I think we are in a good condition here, right? So we are going to talk about the phrases that are used in SQL. The select clause. So this is the most commonly used one. Okay. So the select clause determines the columns that will be returned by the query. One column will be returned for each expression. The select clause and expressions are separated by comma. So an expression can be filled from the table. An aggregation such as sum or any number, calculations such as. Okay, so it has a lot of informations which are not written, which are unnecessary. Okay, so this is what it was talking about. It talks about select, it talks about from table and limit. Okay, so I'm going to explain on my own these informations, so don't be scared. Okay, when we open, let's open our uh, WordPress. Oh, let's open our WordPad. I keep forgetting this. Okay, we're going to talk about these keys. Okay, we have what we call exam. Dun, dun, dun. Okay, okay. Give a minute. Okay, so we saw that it was talking about keys. We have select. In normal English word, what does even select mean? Okay, select means just pick. So if we want to pick information from a table, we use the word select. Maybe we want to pick names. So we have data in our database and I want to see the names in that data. I will just say select names, names. So I just, so from the word select names. So just I'm saying pick names from the column database, from the column, all right? So from, this is what we have now. In databases, we have several uh, tables. Okay, so you have to provide the table you are referring to. Okay, from table name. Okay, so you have to provide the name of the table. Okay, from where. So then that is it. That is the most simple query you will come across in the life. Okay, then you will end with semicolon. So once you run this, it will give you the name. Okay, let's just do it practically and see it. So when we open our debeaver, just a minute, let's open our debeaver. Debeaver. Okay, I cannot see my debeaver. Okay, let me just open my debeaver. Um, okay, just a minute. Debeaver. Okay. Um, do you guys have any questions about data analysis? Okay, this is, don't worry about this. Okay, don't worry about this. Um, don't worry, I'll be short about this. I'm here just to tell you a simple phrase such as select, what it does. Okay, let's say we have a table like orders. So this is how you create tables. So you say create table, then the name of the table next. After that, you open a bracket. Then you are going to type the column name, right? order ID, integer. So we say that this is a data type. Then a primary key. So a primary key is a unique identifier. Then we have customer ID, that's the second column. So I choose serial. This one now it is auto increments. So this serial usually it auto increments. That's what it means by serial. Product I chose Baka because I don't want to be limited to a certain number. So Baka means that either 100 or even it can exceed 100. Okay. So those are the information that we have in our table. So I want to select all from orders. This is what we mean by selecting all from orders. So once you run this, okay, this is what you're going to get. That is the basic query, all right? So you're going to get information and the table that we have just created. Okay, we created, this is the thing we created, order ID. That was the first column, order ID as you can see here. And it is integer, meaning that it is a whole number, it cannot be decimal. Then we say this is a primary key, it is a unique identifier. Usually a table must have a primary key, one primary key, okay? Then the second column is customer ID. As you can see here, we have customer ID. We chose serial. So serial is auto increments. As you can see there, the first one is given 1. The first order ID is given 1. The second one is given 2, 3, 5. Auto increment. That's what it means by it. Just writes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Product, which was Vaka. These are it can exceed 100 characters, or even can reduce by even 2, 3. So it doesn't matter. Okay, that is what we mean by Vaka. Okay, those are the informations that I wanted to just talk about it. All right. So that is the select statement. So it picks information from the data. And this thing, if you are shocked about this, is that it picks all the information so from the data. This star shape means all, select all from orders. So that's why we got these informations, right? Now let's go back to our book and check if there's anything that need to be discussed further, right? Um, okay, so let's go back to our book and check. So we were talking about, those are the things we were talking about, right? And we were here, I think, select the select statements. Select statement means just picking something. One column will be returned for each expressions with the select clause, and expressions are separated by commas, right? Okay, those are the informations we have here. From, so this is another one. From clause determines the table from which the expressions in the select clause are derived from. That's what I said. So from, you provide the table name. A table can be a database table, a view, so that is it, or a subquery. That is why. So when you choose from, you then give the name of the table. That is must. Okay. And we also have something like this: orders customer underscore d. This is join. So you're joining the orders table to the customers table. Okay, and they must, if you want to join two tables, there must be a table that they share. All right. For example, um, customer ID. We have customer ID in the customer table and orders, and in the orders table we also have customer ID. Okay, I need to charge the laptop just in a minute. Charger. So that is what joins is for. Okay, and when we are using joins, there must be a column that that is found in both tables. So joining two tables, there must be a table that is being shared. Okay. Um, we need to do what? So this is about joins. So we have a few types of joins. We have the left join. So let's talk about that. And that is very important. So where's the word? Okay, types of joins. So types of join. We have left. The first join we have is the normal join. Just a normal join. Okay, normal join. This one usually combines two columns, right? It combines two columns. That is it, right? So the second one we have the left outer join, left outer join. Okay. So the normal join is just the basic joins. Okay. So the next one we have is left outer join. It usually displays all the information on the left and on the right side displays the information that they what we say that they share. Alright. So but these joins you're going to see it properly when we start doing about the subqueries, and that is the towards the finishing part, towards the finishing part of SQL. That's where now we introduce to you joins. But now just it's better for you to have a general idea what joins are. So we have four types of joins. As I said, this is the second one, the left outer join, and we also have right outer join. Just remember that. So what you need to remember that also is that right outer join. So when you combine two tables, right outer join usually displays all the information on the right side table, and the left side table it will only display information that are related. So remember that. Just make sure you write down such information. So you will remember. You must remember that because we will talk about joins towards the end. So we said right outer join, and normal join, and the last one is full outer join. Okay, so this one displays all the information uh, from the two tables. Okay, the left on the left side and the right side, so it combines to form one table. So that is what we used for. That is what we mean by full outer join. So those are the types of joins we have. Okay. With that being said, let's go back to our book and see if there is information that needs to be discussed further. Okay, if we go back to our book here, um, go back to our book. Okay, so we talked about the full outer join. So inner join is same as the normal join. That is the basic join. Okay. Then we have right join, then we have the left join and full outer join. Those are the joins we have. So joins are used to combine two tables to form one table. So they combine two tables to form one. That is it. Right? You can even combine three tables to form one. Join three tables to form one. That is what it means. Now let's go and check about what where means. So when you're writing queries, will also come across this where, right? So where it flows filters. So it filters the needed uh, things that are needed to exclude or remove rows from the result set. So, okay, where is optional, it is not must, right? So where it filters information for you to get the specific information you need, that you need, right? So from the word where, Okay, so if you say select name customer ID from, then you say customer table where. Now when you write where, you want specific information where customer ID equals to 1. That is just an example, okay? So let's now check group by. The group by clause is required when the select clause contains aggregation and at least an aggregation field. So an easy way to remember what should go in the group by clause is that it should have every field that is not part of an aggregation, right? In most databases, there are two ways to list the group by fields, either by field name or position, such as 1, 2, 3, and so on. Some people prefer to use the field name notation, and SQL queries requires this. Okay, I prefer this position, particularly when group by field contains complex expressions. And when I'm doing a lot of editation, this book will typically use position notation. All right. So there's two ways that you can use in group by. So you can refer the columns by name or uh, by number. So according to where where the columns are. All right. According to the position of the columns. So if we have customer ID in the first column, we can just refer it to 1, right? So it will automatically pick the first column. If you say 2, it means it will pick the second column. So what is a group by? A group by is used to group certain information based on a certain column. That is what we mean by group by, right? So from the word, so SQL, just remember that it's just an English. It's English complete. Everything is in SQL is English, okay? And group by, from the word group by, means it groups certain information based on a certain column. So that's what we mean by group by. So we also have limits. So if you want to, so limit, so is added as the last line of the queries and can take in position value. So let's do this practically to see what limit is. So if you want to remove unnecessary rows, so that is when we use limit. So when we open our debugger, let me open my debugger. Where's my debugger? Okay, as you can see here, I have um, I have this information. I have how many rows do I have? I have 5 rows. Okay, I want to limit to only two rows. Okay, uh, let's say limit. Let's try this. As you can see there, when you remove the unnecessary information, so it's limited to two, first two. All right, that's what we mean by limit. So if you want to see specific, maybe top 5 countries with the highest debts, then you use limit. Okay, maybe you have thousands, hundreds of countries, then you want to limit to top 5 only with the highest debt. So you use limit. That is what we mean by limit. Now we can go back to our uh, so that's what we mean by limit. So select, this is a basic syntax, how it looks like when you're writing queries. Okay, select means pick column names. So you put the column names, column A, column B, from table. So now you're going to write the name of the table. So limit 1000. Going to limit to 1000 rows. When you use the save creative, the limit applied at the step and only the estimated result will be evaluated outer core. Now, and those are the informations we have, right? We did the where, profiling, distribution. So, and we can continue from there tomorrow. And for those of you who joined the class, I think you were uh, attentive. I hope you learned something new today. And if you learned something new, make sure you smash the like button for more content like this, where we're going to. But we still haven't finished this book. We are going to continue from where we left. Okay. Tomorrow we are going to do this and until we finish this book completely. Right. So tomorrow we are going to pick from these distributions, and this is where we are. So we are going to pick from here, and we're going to write queries. Tomorrow is the day now, the big day where we are going to use this debugger. So we are going to make use of the debugger because of the queries that we are going to write, right? And those of you who joined, I think I can thank you now. Please subscribe to the channel and make sure you share to your friends because I share all my knowledge with you. I share everything I have, and if you want to support the channel, it's also in the description below. So I don't make anything from YouTube, by the way. So if you want to support, you can support by taking. You can support me through the description below. So we have a book there, and right now I have projects that I need to do this time. So hmm, unless we have a question, so you can think of that. So I would love to give a shout out to my book right now, the book that I have created, and I don't know if you guys agree with me, but this book I have done a lot of information about it. So these are the descriptions of what we are going to get from this book. So if are you struggling to get interviews, so if you are someone maybe you are acquired a certain skill and you are struggling to get an interview, so this book will help you get an interview. So it will give you the what you need to do to get interview, or you are trying to land your first job. Maybe you have gotten your first interview, maybe you have gotten several interviews, but the thing is that you can't get a job. They don't want to hire you, and you are like, no, I don't. You don't doubt yourself. You actually know something, but the thing is, there's small issue that need to be fixed for you to learn at at your first job. Okay, so for you, so this is what you need. You're going to learn. So you're going to be hired with Excel. So this channel is about data analysis. So and if you are onto other things such as web design or web developer, if you're a web developer, I think this book cannot help you. Okay, unless you're data analysis and you want to learn a job on data analysis, this book is for you. So you'll be hired with Excel. So designed for absolute beginners. So if you are totally beginner and growing professional, so this book is going to help you. This practical guide breaks down the key metrics, methods, and real-world strategies used by successful data analysts every day. So this book is going to share with you what data analysts do their day-to-day life. Like what the hell do these people do, right? What do they even do? Why are they so busy? If it is about just dashboard creation, you can just complete it. within 1 2 to 3 days, right? They're like, why are they so busy? Okay, why are they so busy? But the thing is, there's a lot of information that is hidden from you guys, and most of the data analysts do not want to share with you this information with you, but you'll get it from this channel or in this book. What we usually do from day to day life. So most of the time we are not into data analysis, so we don't analyze data daily. Okay, so we have meetings. Usually do some meetings. Yeah, most of the time we do meetings. Yeah, we discuss on projects. We talk with stakeholders. That is what we do. And in this book, it's going to show you that. Right? So it's going to show you the real world uh, data. Okay. So why trust this book? That's a second question. So I created this guide after seeing how beginners waste on confusing tutorials. Maybe you have watched several YouTubers. You watch several YouTubers. They're like, hey, they're selling a dream. Sure, you might be doing what they're saying, but you still can't you still can't get a job, right? And for price less than the price of a coffee, this is what you're going to learn in this book. Okay, what recruiters are looking for when they want to hire you. So, how to transform raw data into clear insights. The most important metrics used in real world companies. So what data analysts do basically their day to day life. I already shared with you guys. So those are the information that you're going to learn. So what recruiters are looking for, how to transform data into clear insights, the most common product metrics used in real world companies, what data analysts do basically their day to day life. So no fluffs, no jargon, just clear actionable content. That is it, alright? That is what the book is about, and I just check out through there. The link in my bio and the description below. First, takes you there. Yeah. With that being said, I think can end it here. As in, we have already done those informations. Okay. Unless maybe you have a question you want to ask, you can ask me right now. Guys, do you have a question? If you have a question, you can just ask me right now. Maybe you want to ask us certain information, maybe you want guidance, maybe you are confused on the books to buy. So the 5 books to buy, I'll tell you. So go and get yourself this book. This book we are doing right now. So this book here is very important. Okay, I don't know what where we read. Okay, so this book here, don't know. So this book we're doing here, just go and get it. SQL for data analysis. Okay, this one here. This book is very important. You can also get yourself and there's this trade book for Power BI dashboard. Get yourself that book. So, with that being said, unless you guys have a small question, how many days in like book? The book is just $5. Just it through the link in the description below, or you can just go to my channel. If you have paper, you can get it there. Okay. So those are. If you don't have a paper, you can just text me, right? Email me. I don't have a paper. There another way I can get it. I'll let you know. And is there another question maybe you want to ask, or is it okay, the only person who wants the question? Yep. So I said, don't give up, guys. I am quite tough, and you will learn a lot from this channel, right? The next question. mm, this guy has asked a question. Joan, Joan, how long does it take to learn data analysis? Okay, that's a good question, and you can learn data analysis in 5 months. Like it. It's true. You can learn even in 3 months. So, but you have to take your time. So don't go or don't hurry yourself. Right? Go slowly and don't push yourself to the limit. Every day you can spend at least 10 minutes to 20 minutes learn about data analysis. Right? So we're already in the challenge of finishing data analysis in 5 months. So I usually stream here most of the time my free time. I'm sorry that I might be busy sometimes, okay? So you have to forgive me for that. Because I also have a job, so that's time that I share with you my free time. So now that's we can end it here. Thank you so much for attending this class. Unless you have another question, maybe. Is there another question? That is the end of the stream. Love you. Peace.